Call Chris Kelsey.
Yes, sir.
It's open now. I see Frank Miller is all.
Okay, so I'll keep trying now that you got it open, and we'll keep our fingers crossed here.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll get back to you. Okay, bye. Okay, bye. Call Morgan.
Hi, Morgan. Please leave a message.
Hey Morgan, this is Phil. It's 3:15. Um, I'm calling of course I'm calling just to say hi. I mean, I meant to drop in yesterday. I was hiking around and but I don't want to get in your hair. But um Chris Kelsey didn't get in last week. He went to the same original sign-in link, um, and again, same now. Um, and so you're my only source of potential. Nora had no idea what to do, and she's very busy with school stuff and so on. So, um,
Hello.
hey, Frank is here. Um, so, if you could get back to me and have some idea about it, between now and I'm opened up now. Usually I get here at 3:30 and I've been opening up ahead of 4. So, um anything up to 4, if you could get back to me on it, that'd be really you know, and it's open for you too if you wanted to get in just for even a brief time if you happen to have it in the next 45 minutes. Otherwise, Chris is out to paddling without a paddle, out paddling without a paddle, whatever you want to call it. And that's a shame because he wanting to get in and I just can't, I don't know what to do to get him in. Help. See you soon, dear. I'll come by to say hi, but I'm just desperately now. And we have some other guys that can't make it because they're doing this or that. Oh, bye-bye. I'll be here. We'll be here the whole time. And you you might have his phone number. If there would be something he could do that you would know. Um, and I think I can text it to you maybe if I can find it without screwing up my own picture here. So I got another address book here somewhere if I can find it. Anyway, bye. How you doing, Frank?
So, hi, Phil. You know,
I'm trying to track down Chris Kelsey can't get on,
oh,
and
I thought I was having trouble getting on. I tried many times. Nobody was there. I just went, shh. And then I finally saw the sign that said 2 o'clock
said
Hawaii
what?
time.
It
The
said two
time
o'clock.
changed. Yeah, we don't have any time change over here. So when you guys change your time, I'm suddenly an hour closer to you. So your
Well,
thinks it's four.
Chris is on your same time as you. He's on Oahu.
Yeah, and Jamie too, yeah.
Chris
So
is
they
on
meet.
Oahu.
Right, right. So at the same time, it's right now over here, it's 1:18. And I said, oh, well, I'll go back and get on at 2
Oh,
o'clock.
it
Because
is still it.
between you and I are just 2 hours down, not three.
Oh, I know that.
Yeah, so yours at 4, mine's at 2 now instead of 1. You see what I'm saying? I zoomed in on at 1 o'clock,
Okay.
which is three
Okay. So
o'clock.
what did you do?
I finally decided I was at the right place and I just left it on. And I was out in the garage just now and I heard your voice talking to you on the phone or something. So I came rushing in and here you are. So I
So
was in the right place.
you were allowed before 2 for your time then.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I've been in for
Chris has been trying. So I gotta pause for a second here.
hmm.
Um,
Well, I got the right numbers evidently. Jamie was asking about the right numbers. I gave him the ones I had.
I gotta write these down and then
So that's your office. I was looking, I haven't seen that bookshelf for a while. I got
just
my own.
just a second here. So
Yeah.
now I gotta send this message to Morgan.
Yeah, so I
Of
was
course, I have
tripping
like
out.
because I have like 3 numbers for her, which
Uh,
is crazy.
don't you hate that? Yeah. I got people like that.
And I'm never quite sure which is which.
Oh, well, I put all my books up here on the shelf so you can grab one if I needed to. So I went and got some stuff to munch on. I'm gonna go ahead and do that.
Okay.
Hmm, that's not it. Hmm, that's where I was.
Call Chris Kelsey.
No, not getting it.
Um, so your number's 988-5554, right? Okay, yeah. So I've sent that to Morgan. I can't get her. So um she would know what to do. This really sucks. And and this is the situation. Now Frank is on here. Uh so let me well, you can tell him. You can tell him. Frank,
Yeah.
uh
Sorry, I can't.
You want that numbers?
do you hear Frank, you hear him, right?
Hello? Are you talking on the phone, Phil, like a speakerphone?
Yeah.
Okay.
You hear him, Frank? Yeah. Chris, can you hear Frank?
Hello, Chris?
Sorry, I
Hello,
can't
Chris?
do that.
Hi. That's kind of hard right there, but Phil, I can give you these numbers.
Yeah.
Oh, there. Sounds louder.
Well, just give him the numbers you got then, Frank, or whatever.
Okay, this is what they call the ID, the Zoom ID.
Okay.
844. It starts 844 six
I'm sorry.
five
Yes, 844. I'll repeat him. I'll repeat him, Chris. Go ahead. Okay.
6516
6516
6528.
6528.
Then it may ask for a passcode. The passcode is two.
Okay, wait. It may ask for another code. What kind of code, Frank?
Passcode, like a
Passcode. Okay, those numbers are what?
number two.
Two?
The letter T, lowercase t,
Letter lowercase t.
uppercase W,
What kind of case?
uppercase W,
Uppercase
capital
W,
capital W, small w,
small w,
capital C,
capital C,
and small m,
small
as in
m,
Mary.
like Mary.
2T, capital W, W, capital C, M.
Okay, then he's going to try them.
Okay,
That's Frank. You hear that?
no,
Say it again.
Oh,
Yes. It was the ID number and the passcode. Right, Frank?
I can't hear him now. I did a little bit before.
we can make some sense out of it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Bye-bye.
So that was that, Frank, you hear me?
Yeah, I heard you talking to him. I didn't hear him.
Okay. That was the ID number and the passcode, right?
Right, right.
Okay. So he's gonna type those in.
Okay.
I don't know why they would be different from what because these are the same original ones that we've been using all along, right?
Yeah, since the summer. Because I remember they changed right at the beginning of summer or halfway through summer, changed once, and now we've been using that one ever since. That's what I told Jamie. I don't know if you saw his notice, his text, whatever. It says, what's his email? Maybe asking what the code was. And I said, never changed. And I gave him what I have. I didn't
Okay.
tell him it was 2 o'clock because I didn't know that time.
Well, I didn't think I should have thought about your time zone not changing.
Not at all.
I did think about it, actually, tell you the
Yeah,
truth.
yeah.
Um, and I recognize that the other ones, the other ones don't change except for Arizona. I was talking to somebody else about that this morning, actually. But and so that would have been the problem for Chris. Um,
Oh.
and probably last week when it didn't work for him.
Oh, well,
So would you say then that the code, the ID number and the passcode changed when the time zone changes?
no, no.
Earlier than that.
That's not what I'm talking. I'm saying that the very beginning, we got one passcode and Zoom ID from Nora, yeah, the
Right?
very start. And then I think it was changed once to this one, sometime in the summertime, because we've had this one for a long time. We've gone to all the meetings, as far as I know, on this ID and passcode.
Okay, Chris, here's Chris. He just joined us.
Oh, okay. That's who you've been talking to?
Oh
Chris?
yeah,
I see.
on the phone, but now I see
Right, right. I see, right on.
you see his name, right?
Yes, I do. He's got his whole thing muted.
Sorry.
Uh,
Hey, man. How's it? Those numbers work then, eh?
did you get that
Yeah,
same
well,
Frank, did you
I
get that
had
same number?
I had different numbers. I was using the numbers from the July.
Yeah, see, it changed kind of
It
late
changed.
The
summer.
time change must have done this.
And,
Yeah.
No,
and then
earlier though.
didn't have anything to do with the time change.
Right, I see,
Yeah,
I see.
Nora got a different Zoom number and whole thing in
Yeah.
late summer.
So
Yeah,
then
and
you
it was even saying stuff like, "Oh, the guru is already in another meeting. Do you want to join another meeting?" And I was like, "Oh, no,
You're
just
in the
wanna
wrong
join that
place,
meeting."
dude.
so did you give this number to Jamie, Frank? Also?
Um, I Did I send out an email? I know
Why don't you text Jamie?
I messaged him. It was let's see. Oh, yeah, that's not it. Yeah,
Text it.
I could
Text him.
text him.
Give him those
Give me
numbers.
these numbers. Okay.
Yeah.
You should have his number there. Hmm.
So here's a big question for you, Chris. That has nothing, almost something to do evolution in a way.
Okay.
Um, what do you think about Mike Vrabel's chances of being coach of the year?
Nothing like evolution, huh? Oh yeah. Well, I mean, he's doing a great job right now. Uh, hopefully things continue, you know. I mean, system keeps rolling, the defense keeps playing really well, and yeah, I mean Drake May is the answer.
Well, and I don't think I ever told you this, but 1 week after I predicted it, which was in the summer,
Yeah,
whenever, Sports Illustrated predicted it.
really.
Yeah.
Wow. You got to cash in on that, buddy. Yeah. Well, no, you have a remarkable number of observations, especially early observations in the various sports seasons that often, come to fruition in some way or another. I don't know. This is why you and I talk about sports because, I mean, you know what you're
You-
talking about.
because you know where to turn, right? You know where
Well,
this
yeah.
it's like the Delphic Oracle in a way.
There you go. Oracle. I'm glad I don't have to climb the cliffs to get up here, though. That'd be
Well,
that'd be a little
yeah,
rough.
hope
It's
Dre
just
doesn't marry his own mother or anything, but
oh no, that would be bad.
that would suck, yeah.
Yeah,
But
maybe though. I mean, everything else. Yeah, I mean, they might give it to the Rams guy or whatever, but nah. I mean,
he's in the
he
running. He's in the running.
it's much more of a Phoenix story for them, you know. I mean, they were
Oh, the Rams.
pretty bad. No,
Oh,
the
oh,
Patriots.
the Patriots coming back like this. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah. No,
I mean, they've
no
come
kidding.
further back than just about any other team.
Yeah. See, that's where
Yeah,
because I followed all those free agent guys, and then all those draft picks, and I knew they were going to be competitive, and I knew they had a weak schedule, so those factors really play into it. But you know what? The one problem that still remains, Chris,
what's
is
that?
that you can't do it completely in 1 year. and
Okay.
and it lacks the
Yeah,
depth
fair enough.
the depth of the team,
Yeah.
the benches and that kind of thing because it's done it all in one season. Next year they'll be much better.
That's doing pretty well this year.
Oh,
I'll keep
I know.
enjoying it this year.
Oh yeah, they'll be better next year. You bet they'll be better
So,
next year because they
Who are
won't
you guys
have
talking about?
injuries won't be so dangerous next year.
okay.
What,
Oh,
Frank?
God. What team are you talking about?
Oh, Patriots.
Oh, New England. Yeah, I noticed they won a few games.
They
Yes,
have
6, 7 of them.
quite
Yeah,
surprisingly.
yeah. I
Yes.
saw the headlines every sports section.
Yeah. Well, I think they're making a lot of waves. People are starting to notice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started a little. That's when you're starting to notice, but a couple of
Uh,
months ago, people were starting to notice
oh,
actually,
sure.
and but I'm looking forward to tomorrow's game again. That's going to be tough. That's in Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and Mayfield's he's a bulldog. He don't
I love Baker Mayfield too. I like him
he
a lot.
1 second left in the game, he's still trying to beat you. Even if he's down 20 points,
Yeah,
he's still
I've
trying
always
to beat
liked
you
him.
with 1 second left. He's tough. Yeah, you're gonna have a handful of it.
I hate to root against him tomorrow, but
Oh no, I mean, what are you gonna do, right? I mean,
yeah,
priorities. Yeah, well,
Wow,
Vrabel getting the job done.
darn. He says, Jamie says, I don't know how to use the ID or the passcode, which I just sent him. Can you enlighten me?
Frank, tell him to go to the chat help. There's a chat help option on the sign in. If you're having trouble
Maybe he
signing
doesn't even
in.
know how to get the Zoom. I'm just going to tell him,
Oh,
you know, just Google Zoom
yeah,
and get in there. It says, it'll ask you, join a meeting. I
yeah,
think
yeah.
you click on it, right?
Because when I went to the chat help, they asked me for that meeting ID. So that's a point where he could give them the meeting ID if he can get to the chat help.
Oh, I see.
Because what they'll do is there's an AI
I
connection
can
or
see this
something.
little chat, this little blue
Yeah,
and white
yeah,
thing in the
that's it.
right-hand corner. Yeah.
Doesn't he
because
have
then
a,
it'll ask for the meeting ID and then the password, and if he's got those numbers, then he'll pop. Yeah, it'll come right in.
doesn't everyone have a team view? Oh, that's team viewer though. Doesn't everyone have a Zoom icon on their,
Well, originally
He
in
should.
the
He's been in these meetings before. It should be on his computer.
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
just
that
click
email.
on your
Right?
Zoom
With the link.
icon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I should call him up. I don't hate this text. Let's see.
you want me to call him up?
No, I'll call him right now.
Yeah, you
Let's see.
call him up. You're better at telling whatever anything anyway. Yeah, Frank and Jamie go back a ways.
Ah,
Yeah.
They have a little bit of history. They have a little bit of history.
They're kind of not talking for a couple of years, but it's okay.
well, things happen. What do you do? Right?
Yeah, things evolve. Okay.
That's right. They evolve. There you go.
Well, this is something I want to talk about today too, boy. It's just the omnipresence of evolution,
Right.
and it's almost it's and this is leading these two meetings in this month are leading to spiritual in the next
Hey, Jamie,
couple
I just
months.
got tired of texting you, so I called you, and you're not answering. So I'll try to text you again.
You're not answering.
You can call me back. Here's
Yeah.
his picture. See,
Ah,
Oh yeah, that's what you get, huh? Yeah. So
That's
I
what
get
you
I
get.
get that I get that picture on my phone too.
ah.
Yeah, he's part of a new gang now.
Cool.
That are really supposed to be. He's told me it's been a few months since he joined them.
Here he's calling me.
Oh, good.
There you go.
Hello, Jamie.
Right?
I'm good. Phil and Chris, can you guys hear him?
Yeah.
Oh, good. So,
Not me.
Jamie,
Oh, electronic.
I know. And heck, I introduce myself these days. Hi, I'm from the 20th century, so this is kind of unusual. Well, listen, Jamie, you must have Zoom on your computer because you've been here before. So you find it, and if not, you Google Zoom. And it'll somewhere, or maybe it's like my icon is blue with white Z and M in small letters. It's a blue icon with Z and M on the outside.
See what's in here.
And if it's not in your little line of stuff at the bottom, it's going to be in your list of all your apps. Guess you go to the windows. You see the picture of the window in the far left corner?
Kind of late to do this.
It's a window.
Technology.
Click on the window. No, well, that's one thing you can do, but next to it is a window. No, you don't have a blue window. Okay, well, click on the magnifying glass and type in Zoom. And you see what happens when I do that. It comes up, and it says here, I've obviously searched for Zoom meeting recently because it comes right up. So you type in Zoom meeting. And bingo.
In a new tab.
No, what do you mean?
I
Zoom meeting login. It could be down here somewhere.
That didn't work for me though.
Besides, I haven't done the reading, and because I gotta, I, I got something I gotta do this afternoon. I was unaware that the
Time change.
time shift had changed for me.
Yeah, I know. I didn't even think of it. I tuned in at 1 o'clock and there's nobody here. I went, what? But anyway, you should try to get on. Yeah, you should just try to get on. There's just
I don't know what that is. It's just that I don't know what it is. I suppose you. Oh, wait a minute. Meeting ID. Let's see.
there you go. Meeting ID. That's the numbers I gave you. 844-651.
Oh, you want to tell it to me? Okay, good. Go.
You ready?
844. Got it. 844. You think I need a space between the numbers?
Supposed to, but I think it might do that automatically. So just do 844-6516 and then 6528. And then it might ask for passcode.
Oh, it did put them together. Oh, it's smarter than I am. Sure.
It's spreading out, right?
Joining meeting.
Right on.
Oh, now I wish I could remember how I did that.
That's a problem with being 75 or 8, whatever you are.
I don't do
Yeah, I try to forget too. Okay, this is really difficult. You ready? The number 2. Okay, that's up to you because there are capital letters here. Okay, you ready?
it.
The number 2, small letter T as in Tom, capital W, small W. After the capital W comes small w.
Right.
Then capital C as in Chuck. And then
You.
the last one is small m as in Miller. So 2T WWCM. And the W and the C are capitalized. So
There he is. Popping up.
Well, there you are, man. We see your
Way to-
name. All you gotta do is unmute yourself, and I'll see you later. I'll see you now. Bye bye.
There he is.
Oh yeah, look at there.
All right.
Look at that, an
Way to
elbow.
go, Frank.
Is that a knee or an elbow?
Frank's the
I
man.
don't know. Let's see.
All right.
Who's it
Frank.
looking at? Oh no, that's my knuckles. Let's see.
Look at these
There
crabs.
you
There
are.
we go.
There
Now
we
I
go.
gotta do something.
There you
about
are.
that.
You roll in and roll around
We
in bed
lost that
again.
other guy. Where's that other guy you run off
I
to?
know.
Look at this. No more
Oh,
hair.
you know.
Take me to our leader. Oh, here he comes
Really?
now.
There he is. Just in time.
Yeah.
He's back.
So I wish I
Just
could
time
get
for
rid of-
what?
Jamie just got here. Frank,
I see his.
Frank walked him through the front door.
I see his frame there.
Yeah, there he is.
Whoa!
I-
Look at that! Look at that guy! I mean, my goodness, he's got that figure 8 thing going from the,
I can't
From
get
back-
back
from
to where I
behind.
was.
Oh,
Where was I? Did I lose
Yeah.
myself?
That's it. Keep the light out. What? Or
I
he
don't
just-
know where I am. No.
oh, look at that! Yeah, he's gonna do something like climb under the bear or something. Like he's changing clothes or something.
That's not it.
Uh-huh.
getting comfy. There we go.
Now that's got to
there.
stay open.
Right.
Yeah,
Just
that's
somehow,
gotta stay open.
here I come. Let's see if I can make it bigger. This meeting's
I think Jamie missed what I had to say a few weeks ago, a few messages ago, when I was talking about the you might say pajama party kind of flavor we've got going, and overnight thing, together, and we all slept together on this floor or somewhere. Here we are lounging. And
This is
and
what
what I had in the back of my mind, in my imagination, before this all began, and these seminars, I really, kind of, pause to call them seminars now, but I was thinking of them as seminars originally. And
You too.
so I knew this couldn't be the case to have a classroom, to be looking at a classroom with a bunch of armchairs. Um, but in a sense, that was the kind of flavor of it, or the kind of, you might say, mentality of it, in my view, instead of the sleepover or um,
It ain't
Right.
happening.
kind of thing. And
It ain't happening. I'm sitting
and
in the chair at
so
a desk,
and
pal.
so, for example, I thought that there would be, knowing that this is an all-star team, as I've mentioned many times, that probably everyone would have a notebook handy and would actually be taking notes, and
Yeah.
actually considering this to be a mental exercise and not just, you might say, a physical one in bed. And
Jamie, he's chewing you out. You realize that?
and this way, um, we would
What are you
be
talking about?
actually, um, and even a couple weeks ago when I commented on Kim Finnegan with the lake in the background, sitting on the shore of the lake, um, and so and so and we'll be seeing him soon, um, and we know that we won't have Mitch for the beginning. He's been called away, but he may get back for the last part of it, especially if we go the full 2 hours like we have been. Um, and then Scott Clough is in Kentucky right now, an emergency to Kentucky.
Yeah, I saw
And
that
and
message.
and you've seen that message. And then Ron Saul says his message uh, that his RSPCV that he couldn't make it as well. So other than that, that's three. That's three that we know of for sure. Plus Mitch being, is he the fourth one? I don't know. Couple of guys. I've got a couple of guys in my mind. Um, to maybe invite to join us, but I won't talk about that until I finally discuss it, whether they're interested or not. They are interested in what we're doing, but it's been just as friends of mine, not as anything interest otherwise. So we were looking at t the time. Wait, of course, it's not really official business yet. We got we got 14 minutes to that, so we could even let Jamie Laird tell us about the booze cruise.
Well, I could
Uh,
do that, but I want to tell you about my situation first. There's no way I'm sitting at a chair, on a chair, at a desk to do this. I have been gone a great long while. I did survive, barely. Uh, I took notes, copious notes for the Darwin exercise and had them with me handily. But, I got to say a few things about that, but that was, there was a lot of note taking and not much interaction for me. Uh, the Blues Cruise, uh, it's not what it once was. Uh, Nor am I, it turns out, and so it works out that it's fine because the first Blues Cruise I went on, which was 2013, uh, was extremely active. There was so many acts. We didn't really have time. I think we went to the dining room once, which is real fancy, and basically just grabbed a bite to eat off the buffet line, which is incredible. Between acts, running from one act to the next, always up front. Um, you know, this time, and it's been getting worse and worse. Uh, if you could look at it that way, uh, there weren't as many big name acts. Uh, they weren't. They were playing against each other, uh, so it wasn't very. I have something to look at it against, and it wasn't that good. But because I have slowed down a great deal in 12 years, it was just fine for me. I got to go to the dining room a couple, three times and and you know, actually took a nap one time, and wasn't anything going on, so it was fine. And the headliner, Kenny Wayne Shepherd, you might know him. He's well known. Uh,
Not here.
incredible work. He did a Hendrix song to finish up the. He only played 3 times out of the 6 nights, which is what I'm saying. But he just did an incredible job. And somebody you probably don't know is Chris Stone, and he calls himself the Kingfish. And incredible guitarist. So
I've heard of him.
some of our favorites were there, and it was good fun. And my brother and his new wife. My brother just got married the Tuesday before he came on the blues cruise.
Your railroading brother, your railroad brother?
Yeah, my younger brother Jeff, who you've met over the years.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I asked him why he got married. He's going to turn 70 in May, but and his wife is 75.
Huh.
Whoa.
And
So is
they
mine. No, she's 78.
it's like, I said, why? Is it fiscally responsible? And he said, yeah, we got lots of money. And so they're in love. They wanted to, and that's it. So
Good for
they
them.
came, they had a great time, and they brought their friends, our mutual friends, who I've known over the years. And so they all had a good time. They hung out together a lot, as they do. Judy and I were looking for a spot to sit because I don't go up front anymore. Well, I shouldn't say not anymore, not nearly as much as I did. So they had this the one of the main stages is at the pool, and it has a main floor, and then above that is kind of a balcony, a horseshoe type balcony that runs around. And these two folks had they were sitting at a table for 4, and there was 2 seats empty. And I asked, "Are these seats taken?" And the guy looks at me and he goes, "No, you can sit there, but you have to be funny." And I told him, "Well, I'm not funny, but my wife is." And so we sat down right away, and it turned out so many things that this guy and his wife are exactly the same as me and Judy. We probably met them on the 2013 Blues Cruise. They seem very familiar. He's a Harley rider. He drinks V8 in the morning. He doesn't drink coffee. It's like so many things are the same between us. From Northern California, which is Arcata. Northern California starts at Santa Rosa. So, and then has moved off 30 acres to Arizona. And it turns out that they had planned to come with their great friends. And a week before they embarked, his friend, the husband, died suddenly. So it was fortuitous in many respects that we became their friends. We were all doing the same thing anyway. We ran into them 3 or 4 times a day. So we just decided to go ahead and, make plans with them. And we all went to dinner and stuff like that. So it was really good. It was a lot of fun.
Well, I can see these other 2 guys are wrapped. So they're good to have you back. You can tell Judy I miss her humor. And
Yeah.
I didn't really pick up on it that much, even though I only knew her for I've only known her for 30 years now, something like that.
At least. I've been
Yeah.
married 35.
It takes a while to get to know someone.
The story of Judy and Jamie is, you might say,
You're integral,
Well-
aren't you?
what'd you say, Frank?
You are integral to that. Is that the right word?
Yes, Jeff. Yeah, Frank knows the story, I guess, of how I was the matchmaker to bring them back together again as a teenage, as a teenage, as a,
Yeah, I would use his phone.
under
There you are.
my, under
Well,
my,
he handed it to you,
under
right?
my absolute insistence. I almost had to overpower him and force him to make the call. Uh, but I end up using my mental abilities rather than those, especially in those days because Jamie was actually a Adonis, as I mentioned before. So
Yeah, that
and
is true.
the physical body is something I really do want to talk about today.
He did
Um,
say something to me that made me call her.
yeah, yeah. It was very romantic. It was really, really very romantic. We were going to have Tom Hanks play the part, if we actually made a film of it. But
And don't forget, I believe that I introduced you to your wife at
no, oh, no, you
the
didn't actually.
movie
But no, no, that
Lolita.
it's very true though. Very true. Jamie was with me the day that I met her for the first time, and he already knew her.
Hmm.
That was a great story. That's another great story because she came into my uh, class myself. I just gotten back from a sabbatical and I got back real late, and so I got these crummy Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes like at 3:30 in the afternoon. And she turned out to be in one of them because she needed these credits. Um, and I was really attracted to her, and so then I told Jamie that I'd met this woman, and then she showed up at the film. What I wonder what film that was. That was the Foreign Film Society. You guys may remember that
It
forum.
was Lilith.
And she showed in there, and she was sitting a couple rows in front of us, and and Jamie knew her very well, and Jamie knew her husband at the time, which I didn't know she had one, but I knew very
Unusual.
soon.
Will
And she
not
was
mention.
divesting herself from him very soon. She was just unattaching herself from him. And I was kind of involved in that in a way, but not in that not in the way I was with Anita. It was more like um, observing it as she dumped him. Um, Jamie filled me in about on him and everything, and so I had an understanding of why they weren't going to stay married.
And for the both of us, it's been nothing but wine and roses for these 35 or 40 years.
Yeah, it's been interesting history. We've had a lot of great times together over the years. Um,
Wine and roses.
Now,
Huh?
it's looking to me like this may be, and this is one of the other things that I really want to make a point of, especially it'll be in an email, I imagine, that um, it's one thing to not be informed at all that somebody's not going to make it. Um, I don't think this is in the interest of this group um, not to inform the group. And not to inform me either here. I'm not. I don't. I do get occasionally from to me, but like Mitch today, that still told me he was going to be a bit late, or quite a bit late, if at all. Um, and we know that Ron Sauls wrote to all of us. So this is the way that I would
Yeah.
want it to be. And every single one of us now, Scott Clough. I think only responded to me. He's on his way to Kentucky, but I might have forwarded that. I think
I
I
did see that. Yeah. I
yeah.
saw he had some
So I,
emergency.
so I forwarded that, um, and I will do that from now on if somebody just lets me know.
Yeah.
But it's really a kind of team spirit here that I'm looking for. Um, and like I've said, this is for me really an all-star team of talent. And a lot of guys, I know Tim Finnegan's due here soon. So, and he's very impressed by almost all of you that he's seen enough of. But and so on.
Almost.
So, um, it's it's really you know, I mean, a great out bunch. It's a great bunch that we've got here.
I could use an update on the meeting dates and their
Good.
the reading material for them.
Okay. Well,
If
uh,
there's an email available, just copy it to me.
well, we can just talk about it right now. The meeting dates are pretty simple. They're the second and the fourth Saturday of every month. And because of the way the months line up for the next few, that means it's just going to be every other week for 2 or 3 months. Frank
I
pointed
think,
that out.
I
Frank
think
pointed that out to us.
January's, yeah, it might be the first month that has a second or week in between.
So
Okay.
November 22nd is the next meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
And then in December, it'll be
Second Saturday there.
the 9th and the 20th.
Wait a minute.
It's
9 and
easy.
4.
Just 2 weeks later and 2 weeks later but ordinarily it's just some months it'll be 3 weeks between the fourth and the second or whatever. But it's always going to be the second and the fourth Saturdays. And
Right.
and so we're at this point right now. We're into nature. Uh, we've watched 5 programs on Nova, and those are accessible even if you don't get them on television. They'll go through online, and I can talk to you, Jamie, and give you those names of the episodes and the seasons of Nova. They're on Evolution.
Yeah, I figured that.
Oh, you
I
got
got
those.
Builders of the Amazon, Nova season 50, episode 3.
Yeah, good.
Secrets of the Forest, Nova season 52, episode 8. But you
Yeah.
say there are 3 others.
Okay, we got it. So the 3 that are called human, we haven't addressed those yet.
All right.
Origins, Journeys, and the one with the Neanderthal. But uh, the other 2, the one about Amazonia and the one about the Secrets of the Forest, we're still sort of discussing, and it'd be just fine to talk about them today. Now, originally, my idea was that we would have some group leaderships, leaderships, not me. For example, when we do the spirituality stuff in December, I'm sort of putting it in Mitch's hands. I'll certainly be there too, but Mitch has got a real good background about it, and I'd like to give him a little bit of like all of you. At some point, there'll be something where you can be the leader of the group, and so in there's Tim Finnegan. So
Right.
we'll get some feedback from him. Now we don't hear from Tim Reith. I love Tim Reith. I've known him since he was my freshman student. He was in 5 classes of mine before he got his degree in anthropology, became an archaeologist, and now Tim has got a family and training for the what do you call them, 10 relays and 50-year-old track and field, and is also running this company, this archaeological company. And so, but I don't know when he's coming and when he isn't. And this is a kind of approach we've got to have all the time, like Scott Clough does, and like Ron Sauls does, and says, "Here I am, guys, and I can't make it. I can't make this next week," and we all know it because my idea with Tim, the 2 Tims, we may in the future have a 3rd Tim, but I haven't really talked about it with him yet. But so with Tim Finnegan and Tim Reith, I saw them as kind of leading the discussion of these 2 other Novas. the trees, secret one, and the secrets of the trees, and the one about Amazonia, because the one on Amazonia is very archaeological centric, um, and all this new discoveries there because of archaeology and the LIBAR technology that enables the archaeologists to see from drones and um, helicopters and stuff through the forest and into what's there below the forest. And then Tim Finnegan, I thought, would be a good one to kind of at least and leadership here really means just express your understanding, your experience, your feelings, your knowledge, and so on regarding your relationship with nature, because it's nature that's we're in the this month. And so, and with Tim, here's a guy, you got Tim Reith, who's an archaeologist who's actually running an archaeological company that sends archaeologists all over the world to digs on spaces that need archaeological work before some kind of engineering program is going to go in there. Well, of course, Tim Finnegan is the voice of engineering for us. And so in but Tim's running an engineering program in Tasmania that's that's dedicated to the idea of, of engineering with heart. Something he and I conjured up together a long time ago now, and basically working from the premise that engineering as we know it is a threat to nature. Is does his tremendous amount of damage to nature. And so, and we see this theme just coming back and forth in both of those two videos, having especially the one Secrets of the Forest, which is all about the relationship between humankind and the forest, and educating us into what it takes to have a forest, the holistic thing. And remember the picture that they show of all those trees in the modern way of planting trees, and they're all lined up like an army or
Yeah.
something like that. No room for the fungi, no room for all these other things that are necessary in the actual genuine natural forest. And so I thought I'd let Tim pick it up from here. He's gonna, I don't want him to fall into the water, but
That's a
but
background.
but um, take it away, Tim, for a while. We're not going to talk for long on this, but because I want to move on in certain ways, but including the human body, like I wanted to come back to, because I think that this is our you might say relationship with nature
Yeah.
is lived through the body. So through the organs of the body, we are the natural expression of who we are. Everything about the physical body is natural, including, I hope, our diets. And so this is very important. But there's also this other thing that we've been reading about a lot and thinking about, which is our interaction with nature when it comes to the artificialization of it, the artificialization of the world as we're creating it. This is a, and this is a, it has to remain an important dialectic or whatever we would call it, and keep in mind in the back of our mind as we address nature in the evolutionary terms that the nature right now is struggling to survive at the expense of the artificial, being strangled by the artificial. And so how we embrace this as we think of evolution. Because we've talked about this before. We're interested in evolution when it was actually happening, a million years and later on after that, and from the two-legged animal that we were to the time when evolution was breaking out in common awareness, the Darwin era and all of that, 19th century stuff, and then now. And that's where this book
Right.
will become will become first and foremost among us. Written in 1975, published in 1975, The New Age. And it's all full of that era and looking ahead because evolution has a future to it as well. And that's us. So that's kind of where we are at this juncture in this uh, philosophical engineering. I mean, philosophical evolution.
Engineering.
Remembering that philosophical means only love of wisdom. People they can call it all the things they want to call it, and they can use it all the ways they want to use it, but we know that it means love of wisdom. And if we're being philosophical, then we're looking at whatever we look at. If we're thinking in terms of philosophical content or whatever, we're meaning what does this mean in terms of wisdom and our expectation of it there in order to be philosophical. And without further ado, we're going to turn our attention to Tasmania, Australia, and
Yeah.
the
Well,
the guy
was it?
that actually saw the platypus himself in live action.
Cool.
And
Yeah, if you have seen it, it's kind of a popular attraction. Often you can see a few people gathered around looking. Sometimes it appears or they appear. Yeah, well, I didn't prepare a formal lecture, guys,
neither
but
did I.
uh, as Phil said, we started talking about this, and because engineering, after a while, became a bit of a personal conundrum, I guess, put it that way for me, in that it is quite an impact on nature, as Phil was saying. And I was trying to work out how to come to terms with that. But there's a lot of sustainability going on in engineering everywhere, so it's not something that I try to focus on. Everyone does, but um, I'm just trying to do it in a bit more of a holistic way, where some places kind of dabble in it or lip service, or do it in parts, but not wholly. Um, the I think the hard part is evolution, like you were just saying, Phil, that the evolution of people as an animal is, I don't know when what number to put on it. 100 million years we've been, since, the
I,
first
I,
mammal,
I
sort of
yeah.
something like that. So we
Uh-huh.
started,
Uh-huh.
think of the eons of change in our natural physical state and our mental state and our moral state over millions and millions and millions of years.
The surroundings changing too, eh?
Surroundings changing too,
Natural,
right? Yeah. And then, but it was in a natural, more or less natural. I mean, there were the agrarian, agricultural developments and things like that, few, probably tens of thousands of years ago, maybe that long. But it's only sort of less than 1,000 years. 1,000 years next to a million is nothing. It's like a blink of an eye, right? It's only in 1,000 years we've figured out how to artificialize things out of our natural resources. So combine, heat things up, make metals, combine things to make different composites and different molecules and things um, that are eventually, through enough permutations, unnatural. So that's the scary part to me. Is like we can live in more or less in balance with nature for 100 million years, and in less than 1,000 years, we're kind of got to a tipping point in how artificial we've made our existence and how humankind is dependent on, artificializing the materials around us. Um, yeah, so that's the hard part. And when you think of the word sustainability, that means, can we get to a point that balance with nature can be perpetuated indefinitely? And it's pretty hard to see that. I don't want to be cynical, but how can you keep extracting and extracting and extracting and processing on and on infinitum forever? Uh, I don't know if you can. So, the term circular economy? You hear about that one?
Remind
No.
Circular
us.
economy? Yeah. So that everything can go around in a circle and be reused and recycled, and
Oh,
yeah, there's never full exhaustion of we don't exhaust
okay.
our resources and things. Yeah, that's fine, but we still deposit carbon into the atmosphere, which is a net accumulation. Um, so that's a bit of rambling to get us going, but yeah, how do you get engineering with heart? I mean, there's no simple magic solution, just make everything out of wood or something and then all our problems are solved.
Yes,
It's more of a Yeah, it's more of a recognition that everything we engineer has an impact. So how do we do it in a much less impactful way?
think of the
I was
boats
talking to
they,
somebody who, because I keep saying there's 8 billion of us in the planet, and he said it's been underreported. He's going with 9 billion.
Who is that, Jamie?
So there's a problem there. You got 9 billion people on the planet all consuming and making waste. Uh, I've always said, zero population growth, ZPG from 1970 was a big deal then. And that's a long time ago. And there's just more and more of us all the time.
that's when there was 4 billion people on the planet,
In what,
1970.
1970?
Yeah, I think so. Around.
Yeah, see, that it would have been nice to keep it there at least.
Double in 50
That's
years.
that's when Frank joined Life of the Land. Right, Frank?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's a bit.
that is. I worked a year at Life of the Land on Oahu. We were fighting the H3 freeway because it was going through some famous valley. First, it had a lot of Hawaiian heritage back there, history. And it was just a beautiful, lush valley, and they put this big freeway in. I think it's kind of like when I get a hung jury, we call it a victory because the guy wasn't found guilty. So we delayed the H3 going over the mountain for probably 10 years or so. And then they finally built it, but the one I liked was the people on the hill who built their houses up into the forest where the pigs are, and the pig hunters like to go hunting. And there you had a clash. Because the house owners put up gates so people couldn't go past their houses into the forest. And they had a big argument going, and somebody sued somebody, and we intervened. And I actually went to one of the meetings and talked about let's get together and talk about it. And it's like they hadn't even thought of that. And we ended up doing a deal where, okay, the homeowners would make some gates, especially for the pig farmers, I mean the pig hunters, and and they could go through. They had some rules about how many at a time or where to park and all that stuff, but we worked it out. And so that was fun. We lost the H3, but we weren't for the pig hunters. But that's a problem with development going up into environmental pristine areas.
Well, there is a kind of a story that you probably should know. Um, Dealing with H3. Um, uh, this brings us back to our kind of renegade, or that's not the best word. Jeff Yamauchi. You all heard his letter that he wrote to me after Ross Young and Jamie knew Ross. Um, uh, Came out of the blue on, and Jeff is an archaeologist. He has an anthropology degree from UH, um, and worked for Tim Reith's organization. And he's and Ann and I have, you could say, profited over in the past of knowing Jeff. I mean, Jeff and I were very close, and I got all kinds of things he sent me here and ready to decide what to do with them. And one of them was uh, Dolly, Father Damien at on
Molokai.
Molokai. Uh, and the airport there was being redone, and so they had to call in an archaeological team to do a dig there, and so Ann and I got to go there for like 4 days and hang out with the lepers and do all kinds of hiking and all kinds of stuff there. Um, and so Jeff was in charge of the H3 freeway, archaeological dig. So I got a chance to. I got my younger daughter Tess a job working on that project. He was on for the summer in Oahu, and she was still in high school. She was the only non-college graduate on the whole troop crew. And then I got to go out and spend a Sunday with Jeff, just in the valley. Uh,
That's
uh,
nice. Yeah.
Before it was really done much, obviously it was still being archaeological stuff that was going on. And it was one of the most heartbreaking things I can remember,
It seems like
was what a colossal valley that was. Uh, and how it was going to be that freeway, and I've never been on the freeway or seen it as a freeway. But yeah, it's
You know why they pushed so hard to convert that valley into that freeway project?
sure.
At some point, they were talking about creating a small airport at Kaneohe Marine Corps Air Base instead, and getting the Marines to move to Bellows or Schofield or whatever it was, and giving that land back to the state. So they wanted to have, that kind of access. And I don't know what happened to the planning and why it didn't come to fruition. I kind of wish it had, but that's why they needed that access, that freeway in there.
I see what you're saying. To get to the airport.
To get out there. Yeah. Because once they flip the Marine Corps station back to private land, I mean, the real estate out there is just going to be more expensive than Kahala.
Oh, isn't that's such an insight there? I used to think about how the military does sort of salvage a lot of property, doesn't it?
Preserves a lot of property.
There's lawns, and there's this and that.
Yeah, and I don't want to drag this into that conversation exclusively, but that's huge. And in Hawaii, especially in Oahu, there's all of this land that at one time was probably more necessary to the military than it is now. Couldn't they come to some kind of agreement with the state, some kind of compromise, and returning the land in a meaningful way, in a thoughtful way, in an effective way, something, so we get some of this turned around. And like I said, I don't want to change this conversation from our philosophical discussions into this political problem.
Mhm.
That's what it's about.
Well, even the political stuff has philosophical overtones, doesn't it? Um,
Oh, yeah.
when you think about it, how much, but another topic I wanted to make sure we talk about in the next two meetings is uh, nature itself and what what comprises nature, the component parts of it, and or as we talk about it on spiritual level, and we'll be making this transition into spirituality really soon, um, has to do with the elements of nature are actually when we're working in these in spiritual terms, which is hard to avoid at this point here, is that how many, you all know, I'm sure, read from me at some point or other, nature is composed of four elements: earth, water, fire or heat, and air. So there's an alchemy. The alchemists have discovered this, um, and looked at this proportion of these four elements in the environment around us, in the atmosphere, and so on, and what makes a healthy nature and what makes an unhealthy nature. And we can see that human activity is what has created a, a, a tremendous danger that we're facing now from the elements. It's almost like the elements' revenge.
Yep, it's exactly like that. That's of course the way I feel. But you see that I sent you guys a couple articles on the phone messaging, and what we see is that, as has happened in the past, nature responds to the change in environment. Did you read that part that I sent you the wrong piece, and then I sent it later that there's actually a tree that sequesters CO2 in solid form. It's
Yes,
amazing.
yeah, in the
What,
wood. Yes,
but not in the wood. It's actually there's little gravel in the roots. It exudes these solid carbon dioxide pellets. It's not just holding it in to release later in the wood and the leaves and stuff. It's pretty amazing what goes on. This is what I'm saying. You put enough
Learn how to do
CO2.
that.
What's that?
I said, man should learn how to do that.
Yeah.
well, and
I
of
mean,
course, of course, the Nova episode on the silence or the secrets of the forest is totally about this, and also that it's, I mean, totally about carbon and the relationship between carbon and the forest itself. And what's really interesting, though, is that the trees also let out carbon and necessarily do that
right.
in
Well,
order
and
for it to be
we need carbon
available.
dioxide. It's
Hmm?
not like it's poison. It's got to be in a balance, of course. But the last time, and we're talking the Devonian age, that there was too much carbon dioxide, we got giant plants and giant insects and 12-foot long centipedes and stuff like that because they responded to the extra carbon dioxide in the atmosphere.
But likewise, the dinosaurs lived in I understand, an atmosphere very full of oxygen. And that's one reason they grew so large.
That's right.
Sure.
Super high concentration of oxygen.
Hmm. Well, and it's also a difference between carbon and carbon dioxide, isn't it?
Well, sure, but we're carbon-based life forms.
Sure.
Carbon's everywhere.
Sure. It's like if we could only grasp the relationship between the four elements
Exactly.
and recognize how essential they are in a harmonious relationship with each other, and also healthy themselves, and all four of them are just being absolutely trashed by the by human activity. And then you look and see just how they're coming right back at us. So you got Earth, and and think of the health of the soil. I mean, think of what the soil was like, um, even when I was a boy in the 1940s. So much more alive because obviously natural soil is alive. It's alive with all kinds of creatures living in it, subterranean creatures that populate it in a very healthy place. Now, most of it's being suffocated by,
Yeah, the first thing they do in a development is they just clear the land. They have kind of flat dirt. They can build a building on it.
sure. And
And
once you just pave over it, even you've killed it, where no life can
and then
come.
the people with nice big yards bring in a lot of dirt, right? And yeah, for their lawns, their nice green lawns. It's
Yeah,
ironic.
Well, we moved into Aikahi in early 60s in Kailua, and that was a swamp before, right next to the Marine base. And all the
Mhm.
developer did was brought tons of slag and junk in and just filled the swamp. And then he laid like 4 inches of topsoil on top of it. Well, the first winter that we had decent rains, I mean, the topsoil was whoosh, all gone. And all we were left with was all of this crap, clay and rock and stuff. It was just a joke. It was horrible.
There's nature going, wait a minute, we don't like it like
Yeah.
that.
No.
Now, once we get into the spiritual side of it as well, and I'm going to have to write up this up for others to get it, but I've been waiting for. You might remember that Mitch sent us a piece on Ralph Waldo Emerson on nature, a good month and a half or two ago.
Yeah.
And I kind of seconded the motion, um, and said that we will be wanting to move on in this regard with Emerson and Thoreau, but so the other day I was looking ahead at that, um, and I Googled or just hooked onto Emerson and evolution.
Hmm.
Because I'd been done some work on that earlier, and that'll take you into all kinds of great links. Just Emerson on evolution, and um, he was very affirmative about evolution himself. Had interest in Darwin, and there's a whole bunch of wonderful material there that shows the high level of consciousness that was going on in that period of the 19th century, from the early to the middle part of the 19th century, and how I've mentioned before that I think as I look at it, there were periods in our history where consciousness was higher, and where you could see it in different fields, from science to even art and so on, where this and it was very rich again in the 70s. The way I look at it, that maybe are as
Peaked a
well
little bit
as
with
high as we'll ever
consciousness.
get. Hmm?
Right.
What did you say, Frank?
That's what I was saying. We peaked in the consciousness category in that period, and it's been kind of downhill since then.
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to say? I mean, that's
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, I got to tell you, it's not gone. It's just
Oh, sure.
moved from the mainstream reporting to, the back. The Renaissance Fair is going on in Honokaa right now. And the turnout for that and the costumes and the alternative lifestyle, it's amazing. There's a couple thousand people right there right now in Honokaa of all places.
That's a
So
small town.
it's out there. There's a lot of us, but it's just not I don't know, part of the major culture now. So it doesn't get a lot of reporting.
Well, you're right. Also, though, what the biggest turn for me was the difference between the 70s, 60s, and 70s, and now when it comes to spirituality in the intelligentsia. In other words, for me, this you might say one spokesman for this idea would be Bill Maher, who's um, a vocal and present form of modern could say liberal thinking, what have you want to call it. Yet at the same time, he has no respect at all for the spiritual side of things. And if we think back into the 70s, everybody knew who Carlos Castaneda was. Everybody knew um, who wrote Steppenwolf, Siddhartha, uh, and it was all over the place. That's when I created the mysticism and literature class in that period. And
There was a big boom in consciousness
yeah,
because there was more availability of Eastern religions and stuff like that.
yeah, very much so. In
Um,
Hawaii, we were even more lucky about it.
Mm.
yeah,
They practice here a lot, all the different spiritual religions.
Sure. And that now, though, if you take the average kind of you, evolutionary thinking, and not so much evolutionary thinking, but um, uh, liberal thinking or what have you. Like, for example, those that are to save the climate and all that, to save the nature and so on. But the spiritual side of it isn't there.
yeah, I
It's
can see
like
that.
they don't really buy it, and
Yeah.
it's really um, so it's a kind of a cynicism in that regard, where um, it's just the new age has narrowed itself back down because as I used to when I was, of course we all got into the new age. When I got into it, I recognized that there were three approaches in it. One of them was and they're just like the chakras, because one of them was physical, to get in shape and to run and to do all these things, and that was a new age thing. And then there would be the emotional side of it, where um, chanting and worshipfulness and a lot of that stuff was very much a part of it as well. And then finally, the mind part of it, like like where all the different approaches to mental thinking and meditations and the power of the mind and so on. But when you would go to, let's say, not the Renaissance Fair, but these little, remember these things used to go to where they would do, some people would be doing readings and some people would be doing those are like fairs too that we had during that period. And there was those three different kinds of them, to be physically healthier, to be emotionally healthier, and to be mentally healthier. in a certain way. But to put them all three together wasn't always the case. For me, that's what I was looking for. But I felt what I would see was very much they would be separated from one another. But a bunch of us have talked about what the 70s led to, and what they led to was a tremendous, you could say, what uh, feedback in a horrible way from the conservative part of the country. I mean, just think of how we rubbed it in their faces. How in the 70s we rubbed it in the faces of the conservatives.
Yeah, but remember, we thought everybody was like us. Everybody said groovy, and everybody knew what it meant.
Yeah, and boy, they sure didn't like it. They didn't like it at all. And
Yeah.
by 1970, the Republicans were just gonna landmine the Democrats, and they've succeeded in many ways. Chris, did you have your hand up or something like that?
Oh no, I was just stretching, man.
Oh,
No, I'm
okay.
cool.
Okay.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think he was going to raise his hand. That would be good. That
Well,
would be good.
sometimes to shut me down. There you go.
Bill, you're talking about
Uh,
the environmentalists or those people who, trying to protect the environment and everything you said, but they failed on the spiritual side, or they haven't considered it or brought it up. And my very first thought is, well, in America, it's probably not a good idea because 300 million people have different ideas, spiritual and religiousness, and some will be offended, you know, uh, and so you won't get the big group you might want. I'm just saying that might be why they haven't even thought of making that part of their program because, a lot of people don't believe in the Mandela with the white center that they all believe in. You know what I mean?
No doubt about it. But you have to kind of go from inside out here. It's kind of like um, the heart of what we're dealing really takes us to something sacred that um, runs through. And here's the other thing. When we use the word religion, it Carl Jung, the great Carl Jung, we're all in love with him. Uh, his memoir, his autobiography called Memories, Dreams, and Reflections. He says in the beginning of the book, if I use the word religion, I'm only using it as an experience, like William Blake's book, or William James, I mean, The Varieties of Religious Experience. And so if I'm going to speak of what people would be called want to call religion, I'm talking about the sects, spelled sects, right? Not X. And so and so when I'm that's those are what people want to call religions. They're the sects because religious or religion or however to him is something much higher, something much deeper uh, in the religious.
Experience.
Experience. I was thinking of a synonym for it in some kind of way. And so that's had a big influence on me when he said that, and I was like, yeah, um, and for me, the religions are more out on the rim of the sacred wheel. So where the churches are, where the temples are, where all these buildings are, which have mortgages on them. It's like these are the business. This is the business of the sect is out there on the rim of the wheel. And so then we study, what the hub is and what the spokes are, and our intuition will lead us
Yeah.
to insights about what those would be, whether they're spokes are individual members of the sect or whether they're the sects themselves. because there are certainly many, many sects on the wheel, just as long as there are many, many members of each sect as well. Microcosm, macrocosm, they always work together in harmony with each other. And we've talked about the wheel quite often so far in this workshop, and we'll probably do a lot more of it when we get into the spirituality of it. But it's also like a sociogram too. And we can look at it that way as well, with a center and rays and so on. The other thing that we are considering here is how evolution itself has these dimensions to it. One of them being, of course, in nature itself. This is why nature and evolution are so important in this whole outlook, because evolution was born in nature. And nature was born with evolution going on.
The dynamism of nature. Yeah.
Yeah. Until we had a world full of artificiality, which is really only a few centuries, when you think about it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, they started with the engines and the motors.
Yep.
Steam
Industrial
engines.
revolution. Yeah.
That was I think, the beginning of the end. The steam engines, and then the internal combustion engine, and then, oh, we need gasoline. They didn't even, at first when they were digging up oil, they had this dangerous fluid that they kept having to burn off because they thought it was too dangerous. Turned out to be gasoline. So later, I don't know, was it Ford who said, hey, we can use this, making engines so inflammable, bang. And now we got carbon in the air.
And if you talk about nature, isn't modern medicine unnatural?
absolutely.
Because you
Absolutely.
not only have 10 times as many people as ever, but they are living twice as long or longer. And there's just more and more of us.
Well,
So-
I got to interrupt you here for a minute, Jamie, because I don't agree with that. I think
Okay.
that, and here's why. If you look at average lifespans to be the data that make that point, then I would say that historically, a lot of human beings died at birth.
Yep,
So
and
let's
their
say for
mothers.
so let's say for example, you have a group of 100 people and there are 8 birth deaths. Those are 8 zeros when you divide up the 100 and come out with an average lifespan. So I think that it's true right now that there are people that are living really long times. I agree. And those are people on the whole who have learned how to eat well,
Stay
naturally.
away from all those unnatural foods and stuff.
But they're totally outnumbered, these people, by people who, so this is why the average lifestyle, the average life is like in the 70s. And I think and I pay a lot of attention to this when I'm looking at the name, people in the 18th century and the 19th century and so on. And a lot of them, Tolstoy chose in the end of his life to go live with the serfs. And he went to go live with the serfs because they weren't eating white flour, they weren't eating sugar, they weren't eating the stuff that all the people in the czar homes and blah blah were. For Tolstoy, the serfs on a natural diet, and of course they were eating vegetables and they were eating, some fowl and so on, but they were eating a natural diet where the average person that Tolstoy knew wasn't. And this is clearly the way it is now. Now, a lot of people are smart and change their diets. I mean, there's no doubt about that. There's a tremendous number of them. It looks to me like average age is 78. That's about what it looks like to me.
That's what I've heard from men right now in America, 77.
And that's the amazing thing about the human body, that it
Yeah, I
can
think
that it can stay. But you got to also figure that that average 77, how old was that person who died at 77, turned over to the medical establishment to look after them? Maybe that the last 5 or 6 years they were even, I don't know if in a hospital, but suffering the symptoms of their unhealth.
Right.
And
Well,
Jamie is right about this in
and
this
remember,
regard.
it's as we say, it's only been a couple hundred years since doctors, no matter what the ancients said, started washing their hands, and just
Sure.
actually practicing clean medicine, which saved a lot of lives, and certainly in childbirth uh, to begin with. And so, of course, the statistics will go up. People in the past lived to be ripe old ages as well. But, it was a lot tougher. It was a lot tougher back then. You never, you, you, you got a cut, you could die of sepsis because,
Well, probably not on a farm, but maybe in town. I mean, I, I think there's both sides here. I think the important thing is to recognize how things have evolved and to see that. Let's look at it this way. This way. Um, if one of the things we'll talk about maybe next week uh, is the human body, as I mentioned earlier, and essentially it's an organism. Now, what
tell them
makes
what
it
you tell a doctor when you go see the doctor.
what makes it well, what makes it in it what makes an organism?
Well,
How
is that a
about
question?
yeah, it's a question.
Some
Is
kind
that,
of,
is
some
that
kind of
rhetorical?
life force.
Uh,
It
you
seems
have a
kind
number
of
of systems
it
working
seems
together.
it seems kind of obvious to me what makes an organism. I would suggest that the answer would be organs.
Ah,
Or organization.
Well, same root, no doubt about it. And the only difference between the organism and the organization is that the organization is likely to have somebody at the head of it that's looking after all the parts of the organization,
Sitting
whereas
on top of your neck.
the average human being doesn't even know where the organs are and
True.
and
I
doesn't
had a
know
funny
about
story
them,
about
doesn't
that.
even know about them until what? They get a cancer in them. Now, what causes that organ to have cancer?
Environmental stuff.
build up
Absolutely.
of
Absolutely.
artificial
Let's
ingredients.
artificial ingredients. Absolutely.
Well,
And
and
so,
genetics
and
too.
so, well, Vera, I think way beyond the genetics than that. And so, where you've got the average person who's on a diet that's got all kinds of artificial flavorings and colorings in there, uh,
And you know what? I don't want to break in here, but
go ahead.
because we're not in this group, we don't know about that. We might see it in others, but it's incredible how horrible people eat.
Yes, it
They
is.
don't think about it. They don't know good food. They they it blows my mind. Every time I drive by the McDonald's here in Waimea, the line is packed.
That's what
And
I
it's
see too. Just
not food.
shake my head.
Yep. Yep. It's really the major for me, it's the major disgrace uh, in the world. I mean, eh, enmity complex is the major problem in the world. But there's other aspect of it where we don't understand, and it's a vicious circle, isn't it? I mean, where you've got uh, the food industry putting toxic ingredients into the food, then it makes people sick. So then you have the doctors prescribing medications, which are toxic too.
Yeah, sure it can be.
Basically, the medications do one thing. They stop the symptoms of that particular condition. I mean, we all
And
watch enough TV to know how these caveats at the bottom or whatever you call them, and warning about all these things. Chris and I know Chris and I have
that's right.
talked about this. I've probably talked about
Side
this.
effects.
Have you?
Death.
There are
And
more
people
side
still get it, and
effects
still
than there
people
are
still buy it.
cures.
Yeah.
It's
And
amazing
people
to me. And
because they can get rid
I
of
ain't
the
gonna take any of that crap. Jeez, help me.
It's like
Wow.
Well-
and so then what do the doctors do? They're part of the deal. So then they prescribe medications which themselves are toxic. And so they'll take away that symptom, but they'll have side effects. And that's all the stuff that's at the bottom of the TV screen, warning you about whether you take our product, you know?
Now, I wanted to say something that Judy made me aware of. She actually presented this paper at a
Oh, she's
seminar one time.
tell me.
She's a pharmacist par excellence. What you don't realize, perhaps, is all those toxins that you are ingesting, whether they're taken up or not, are excreted and dropped back into the environment. So all of those pills, and there's lots of them people just flush down the toilet,
Mm.
but all of that stuff, it doesn't go away. It's still part of what you are releasing into the environment.
It blows my mind. Scientists go and test the sewage to see who's, if there's an illness going around.
Exactly. Did you see that? Did you see that there's 10 beaches they've closed or they suggest tourists don't go to in Hawaii? A number of them are in Oahu because of, the effluent.
Coming
Fecal,
down the
of
street.
course, that's what I was going to say, fecal matter. So you're passing
That's
it right
exactly
on.
what it is.
You're passing it right on back into the environment, full of all these artificial ingredients, and the effect that, and they're in the ocean, and they're polluting the fish, and so on,
Yeah,
and it's
a lot of
just
fish have mercury in them.
yeah, it's just such a terrible thing, and all you can do is take care of yourself and your family or whoever,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and be as fit and healthy as you can be. Tim and I yesterday were talking. We had a 2 hour and 40 minute conversation yesterday, and we got into
Good
talking.
job, Tim. Way to go, man.
We got
Wow. Wow, that's longer than me.
and we got into talking about well-being and how Tim had been thinking about the difference between health and fitness, and how they are really two different things. That the Jim Fixx story in history is really the one that, if you're all familiar maybe with Jim Fixx, who was the marathon runner that made a lot of people convinced that if you just ran marathons, you could eat anything you want.
Oh, yeah. Fixed.
And then he died running.
A heart attack.
And so he had a heart attack while he was running
Oops.
and
Oh, that's
died.
Lord.
Because it was just such a it's
He
so
had written a whole bunch of books, right? About running, Jim Fixx, I think.
yeah.
At least one book.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And it's like, but it's every day, you look in the Seattle Times and they'll have these ads for for restaurants and so on. And of course, Ann and I go to restaurants and we choose accordingly, pick accordingly. But it's all these things on new restaurants and all these, and most of them are just terrible looking. I mean, most of them are absolutely horrible looking. Um, and we know it. I mean, knowledge is there, like Jamie's saying, but when you look back at when you look back at the New Age period, when you look back in the 60s and 70s, it looked like things were getting better. It looked like consciousness was alive, and of course it was, but
Yeah.
it was going to, but there's been a tremendous rehearsal, and once again, I think a lot of it has to do with with the fight back of the conservative. I don't like to use that term really in this way because there's good to be conservative some of the time,
Like I
but
say though, remember it was new and fresh and exciting, and it was something to be, uh, and a lot of people didn't want it. So
yep.
I mean,
it's
it's
out
kind of
there.
funny these days. People talk about hippie food. It's like, poor people. That was probably the best kind of meals you could get back then, and even now.
I had a frozen banana covered in chocolate that in Laguna Beach in 1970. It was really good.
I know, aren't they?
Remember,
Well, that's a
whoever
pretty.
heard of a frozen
That's
banana on a stick?
It's not too unhealthy. I mean, you have a little chocolate. That's dark. If it's dark chocolate and bananas are good. Um,
I found a lady making chocolate at the farm fair this morning. And I talked to her for a while, and I bought a couple bars of pure dark chocolate with really high cacao and no milk, no sugar. She used honey, and so I got one just like that. And then she also puts flavors in the honey. So I got one bar with lilikoi, which is passion fruit.
hmm.
I haven't tried I haven't tried them yet because she just gave me this little tiny bite. And we talked and talked and talked. And after a while, she says, when you eat these, just take a little bit at a time. I said, look, I know you gave me this tiny bite. I can still taste it. It's just like wonderful, So I just got to learn to preserve it, right?
That's right.
But
Just
I've been
use
looking for it. I couldn't find it anywhere. I didn't know where to find goods, high cacao percentage, non-adulterated chocolate.
Hey, fellas, I got to sign off here. 3 o'clock was my thing, and uh, I'll see you next time. Send me a list of what I'm supposed to do. Because
And call in at 2.
Check in with Frank.
2 o'clock,
Check in with Frank. Frank will fill you in.
yeah, okay.
Really.
Yeah, yeah. When he comes up here and plays ping pong again, we'll get together.
Well, get together between him and the next
Yeah.
gathering.
Yeah, we can do that.
He takes notes. Even when we're on the phone together, he takes notes. So um,
I was
he's
looking back at my notes from 2024, and
See you, Jamie. You just have to
See you
click
guys.
leave. You just have to click leave.
I got it.
Get out
Yeah,
of this.
yeah. You guys talk too much.
It'll keep going.
bye, Jamie.
Click the button with the little door and you're gone.
okay, Jamie.
Oh,
Be
yeah.
well. Say hi to
Will do.
Judy.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
He leaves it on.
Oh, he leaves it on. Okay. Yeah. I mean, the point coming back to the
I'm
point.
leaving the room. I don't know how to turn it off. I figured it'll go off by itself.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to shut it off on your
There's
computer.
a little button that I see says leave. There's a little stick man going through a red door. I think that's how you actively exit the meeting.
So
Um,
Tim was saying something here.
Yeah, I was thinking about
Oh, I'm
the
sorry. Yeah.
point when we were talking about nature and the NOVA program that talked about the importance of the forests and in absorbing and stabilizing the carbon budget, the carbon balance in
Mhm.
the atmosphere, and that the trees, the farm trees all lined up
Right.
don't absorb as much carbon as the natural forest that has all the
Mm.
mushrooms and all the stuff going on in the soil and all that. That's much more efficient at and has more capacity. So that's that. But the population, I mean, sometimes I think about all this, and it's a good point about population because I think, well, what's the whole point of all of this? Like, is it to make the planet more sustainable for human civilization for as long as we want it? Or why is human civilization the number one priority? So because humans are very human centric, right? People want, and that's why medical research and medical is so important because yes, human life is sacred, you know, put before everything. To save a human life, you'll tarnish the environment, kill animals, do anything but lose a human life. So sometimes medical research, I think, why do we pump all this money into finding all these to try to find cures for all these subtle diseases that probably nature created to help keep populations in check? Yet we're artificially suppressing them so that populations can flourish. You know what I mean? Like it's a perpetuating
Yeah.
the problem. But try to tell try to tell someone who's dedicated their life's work to, you know, medical research. And it's probably not a good
Saving
thing to
lives.
raise with them to say like, do you realize that your life's work is actually making everything in the long term worse for everyone? Yeah, probably not a good.
You're gonna be called an anti-vaccinist,
Yeah.
anti-vaxxers, or
But
whatever.
Tim,
Yeah.
did you just say a moment ago that nature uh was trying to control the population, or nature caused the illnesses?
No, well, I would assume that there's a lot of natural um, bacteria, viruses, things in nature that existed long before modern medical research, and that it naturally kept human populations a little more in check. Now we try to save everyone and extend everyone's life. So that's what I meant.
Well, what would be the actual um, form that would take? That when we think of somebody dying of natural causes, it's almost always means age, I think.
Well, it
But
could be flu and things like that, or all
TB or
kinds.
something.
Yeah.
okay, so you're talking. I mean, and you mentioned bacteria and viruses. Um,
Well,
and
there
I
was a time we didn't have antibiotics. So you get a bacterial infection, yeah. If you're a bit unlucky, you're gone.
don't sh- don't you use that your hand, or is it just you just stretching your hand again over there?
No, no, I was just
You were agreeing.
But
using
don't you?
nonverbal confirmation of what Tim was saying. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
But
not
don't
I'm not
don't but
suggesting we shouldn't have developed, I mean, antibiotics. I mean, they're pretty helpful. Um, all I'm saying from a really holistic planetary scale view, um, things are a little out of whack. And because humans got to a point where we could affect both sides of that balance, the population balance and um, the natural elements balance.
hmm
I think some of it grew out of that whole misinformation that humans were divine and, you know, on the right hand of God or anything like that, that this elevated importance for human beings that really didn't exist. I mean, that they haven't evolved all the way yet. They got a lot of long ways to go before they get there. But there was this, coming out of the 1800s and some probably earlier, that there was this, oh yes, the divine human being. It's like, no, not really, you know. I mean, because then the divine human being has all this liberty to like Tim is saying, I mean, just, oh yeah, the human life is so important. Well, as opposed to the health of the planet. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would think at some point, knowing that what the planet is capable of, uh, that it would just finally decide enough with this human being thing and, you know, really get rid of us. I hope not, but
well, I mean, this all makes sense in its way. Um, I think I think that without a doubt, humankind um, has celebrated itself um, in ways that are toxic, um, and that would go towards the superiority of the artificial over the natural, um, in almost everything now that humankind, including artificial intelligence and with them now, and so much else that is in its way very dangerous, and because it's not natural. Um, I think as I'm reading now, I'm just rereading the um, the Matheson novel,
Under the
under the
mountain
Mount- under
wall.
the
Leopard
under the mountain wall,
under the
and
mountain.
and it's too bad Jamie left because Jamie read it last year on my recommendation, and
Sure.
uh, and those uh, characters in Papua New Guinea. The beautiful thing about that book, of course, is that it's kind of like um, an archaeological exploration, only with human beings, because these are Stone Age human beings. Um, and the Stone Age lasted up until about 10,000 years ago or something like that. And um, and so anywhere in that long period then um, would be described pretty much by these characters that we see in Papua New Guinea, in Papua New Guinea. And there's so many pictures of them. Most of you have probably seen the book by now. Um,
Yeah.
they're very healthy looking. Um, their um, consciousness is in a certain limited, stage in their evolution, but they're creatures of nature, and
That's what can I read a little part here? Just about what you're saying?
yeah,
This is in that book. It says that, you know, the ferns, they're like the mist hung on the cliffs, the squall of parrots echoing on the walls, the sun, the distant river were part of him as he was part of them. They were inside him, behind the shadows of his brown eyes, and not before him. He would see a certain fern he needed to dress a pig, and another for which pith was taken to roll thread, but the rest withdrew into the landscape. The experience of his eye was not his own. It was 1,000 years old, immutable, passed along as certainly and inevitably as his dark skin, the cast of his quick face. Just, he was they were with nature. I don't see they saw themselves as any more wonderful or godlike than nature, right? They really believed they were in the nature. They're part of it. They had no reason to clear the land. Anyway, I like that passage. That's what
mm,
it's like page 4, so it's a really great start, gets you right into the book.
yeah.
I got them all up here.
Nah,
And I got to read them now. Jeez,
right.
I've been so busy working. Sorry to say, but
Well, clearly, of course, the primary reason I included Under the Mountain Wall um, was the Amity
yeah, yeah.
complex. Uh, but at the same time, um, there's something beautiful about the Kurelu, and how um, they have a real what society of fairness, and really a pretty healthy a pretty healthy outlook on things, except for this um, compulsion to be at war with the other tribe.
Yeah, that's hard to understand. Yeah. I mean, it's human nature.
Yeah, yeah. It's
And
just,
so,
and it goes way back, right? So then
yeah.
we got Sir Arthur Keith, um, and so this goes all the way back to our survival in the first place, based on the tribal
Yeah.
nature of things, and then this, on the one hand, this wonderful, res- wonderful influence that the tribe had on the individual to bring out the best in them in many ways, loyalty and trust and love. As I see it, though, this is really where we have the levels of love, and we're going to be wanting to talk about them pretty soon. And for me, St. Paul, man, he nailed it when he talks about eros, philos, and agape, and how we have to kind of play around with it. Agape, of course, but you've got eros, which a lot of people then translated into erotic,
Mm.
fallaciously, and you got, because it sounds like, it's only about sexuality, and then you can stop and say, wait, you're saying that St. Paul, yeah, that St. Paul says 1/3 of all loves are sexual, and so no, it's got much more. And then this was in the 80s when I was living in the office and meditating for hours on these topics, and where I was able to get it was when I looked at Philos. So you got Eros, Philos, and Agape. I looked at Philos, and it, this one is, of course, this was, I was in the office
Intellectual love.
in the 80s, and so for me, then I looked at Philos was the heart chakra. That's the way I had to look at it. And then because there was this term going around a lot in the New Age thinking of unconditional love. And a lot of people would be throwing around the term unconditional love, like in your family. So you can say, yeah, we only trust your family. You can't trust anybody else but your family. Because it's in your family you get unconditional love. And I'm going, I think there's too much proof that that's not the case. That it's not really, in the first place, it's not
There's a
unconditional
lot
love
more
anyway.
conditional, yeah.
It's under the condition that you're in the family, so that's not unconditional love. But in the second place is there's all kinds of shit happening anyway in the family. So I looked up, so I go, no, this family thing, this is conditional love. So not just if you're a redhead or a blonde or whatever, and then that's the condition on which your love is based. But so you got unconditional love there in the heart chakra, and then the lower chakras, which of course that fits with sexuality too. And so that's the whole beauty of recognizing between conditional and unconditional love, and that love that Arthur Keith is talking about, the tribal level, is clearly conditional love. So you are in the tribe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so this conditional love. This is love, but it's not unconditional love. In fact, there's the story of the guy under the mountain wall that gets caught with a woman from another tribe, the other tribe on the other side of the valley there, and they bury him up to his neck near an anthill. And so you go, that's really something, boy. When he tells you, it's the West Side Story, that's
Yeah.
that's Romeo and
Romeo
Juliet.
and
It's Romeo
Juliet.
and Juliet. I mean,
Yeah.
it's there, in a wonderful form to
Wow.
see to see how that works. and the amity-enmity complex as a part of it. And
How often
so,
does that bring tribes together instead of cause war between them?
yeah, that's a good question, boy.
Real good question.
You'd be a traitor. You'd be a traitor if you tried.
Yes, if you're the king and you married the queen across the river, that might be okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems not so hard to make things work. But
It doesn't seem hard for you, does it?
I'm much too optimistic. Too much
Sure.
at
Of
this
course,
point.
all of us have certain things that don't seem so hard for us and other things that do.
Yeah.
But even so, this amity-enmity thing is in the genes. And this is what enabled humans to grow and learn and so on within the context of it.
Mhm.
But now it's it's coming home to roost. I think that it's the but as we look at it in Arthur Keith as well, and I think it's a big irony because I haven't read the book. I just read a lot of stuff about it. So that still remains for us to be looking at it down the road. But it's like there do seem to be these situations, these conditions that booby trap in evolution. Um, like for example, 1975 over here, the unfinished animal, and and then things looked like but he's got a lot of stuff in there about this whole question. The age of Aquarius is where he's coming from, and the evolutionary promises that there seem to be made in the Aquarian
Mhm.
um, um, Enlightenment period, which got turned around. And to me, when I was writing columns, I wrote a whole bunch of columns for Wacom Watch up here on this topic, looking at what the Republicans did. I mean, it's it's like seems so grimy to uh, to blame it on something as I'd say superficial as this, but it really turned everything around when the Republicans took over the way of thinking. And there's a whole lot of stuff. They had summer schools and summer classes for young Republicans to 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 polarize them against the Democrats, and it's been their thinking for the last 50 or 60 years. It's been their purpose to get rid of the Democrats, to to do this, and you can see this very much alive in the people that surround Trump, the people that are close to
Oh
him.
yeah.
It's like the thing the hope that you can have in this regard is that the citizens out there that have been kind of, you know, seduced by Trump, they're not the same as the ones that are like the Stephen Miller types. Um, and there are a lot of them. And just look at the cruelty in them, and look at the cruelty in all these guys all over these, what do you call them?
So
These.
just the
Mhm.
cruelty to the immigrants, you mean?
Yeah, the ones that are tracking the immigrants down, and not only just them, just acting with so much cruelty, so much um, that there's this hate, there's this capacity for hate. That's what enmity is all about.
Yeah.
And you could see it during the campaign for president, where Trump was based totally on that idea of dividing and conquering in that way. Whereas Harris was trying to unite everyone and make them, you know, think as a larger whole and part of the larger uh, population or what have you want to call it. And she lost enough there.
Can't believe so many
It was
people,
such a close election, man. 1.5%. What are you saying, Frank?
so many people believe Trump. He was a lying sack of dirt from the very beginning. It's just,
Yeah.
that's the most appalling thing in my mind is that they actually thought he could bring prices down. You know, I mean,
It is laughable.
it's
It,
so dumb. And Americans were so dumb. That's maybe we should just have certain people vote. I'm just kidding.
well, as you know, some of you know that one of my most influential books on me was called Dumbing Us Down. And
Hmm.
John Taylor Gatto's book about how education was
Hmm.
being um, what's the word, um, just
Minimize.
destroyed or eroded, and where uh, and I watched it. Of course, I watched it in my own business. Watching in the ed biz. We're watching these kids come out of high school into your class, and how they've been allowed to think that your job is to make them feel good about themselves instead of to show them where you can grow. And this is a big thing in teaching or counseling or coaching or any of these things where is your job to show someone how they can improve?
You
Well,
kind of froze up, Phil.
that means if you are showing them how they can improve, you have to show them how they're not up to stuff yet.
Yeah, you tell them you're junk.
And they don't want to hear that.
Right.
They want to hear they're good now.
Yep.
Well, that's
So,
because when they played soccer and youth soccer, they all got trophies, whether they won or lost.
oh yeah, sure, all of that stuff, Everybody in elementary school, all these kinds of things, you couldn't, I mean, and by the time they got to me in the university, I could see, that they weren't used to being, especially in creative writing and stuff, where it had to be point. Chris, Chris saw plenty of it, and so you could correct them, and they weren't used to that. They were used to being praised and used encouraged and made feel good about themselves. And then
Patted on the head and given a treat. Come on,
yeah,
that's what was
A
happening.
star on the wall.
and this is part of it. It's definitely part of it. Um, when you're looking at politically in the state of the culture. Another big way in it is the resentment on the working classes uh, side, which they have a right to have. When you think about how the liberal movement is mostly about cultural stuff, like like civil rights and all these other
Yeah.
things, which are important, of course. But if you're a white person who's not very well educated, they've been they don't they're not good jobs for them. The liberals don't give a shit about them. They're angry. They're they resent it. They look at the wealthy and the educated and is pampered and all kinds and have all the advantages and so on. And they're out there um, ignored by and you don't see any of them on the TV show. But every movie has to have a black character in it now. I mean, every TV show.
Every
And
TV ad.
I don't mind it. I mean, I don't mind it, but I mean, it seems kind of a fact. We watch stuff in French, and there's no matter what it is, no matter what part of the country now it is, Grantchester and public television or whatever, there's going to be a couple of black characters in there, and I'm fine with
Politically
it.
correct, right?
Yeah,
That's being politically correct,
yeah.
I guess.
And Trump is doing just the opposite, boy.
Yeah.
He's rooting out people people of color all over the country. And yeah, and so that's
It's
the
amazing. It's so obvious.
he's always was a racist. He and his father,
Yeah.
were in rental properties in Newark, New Jersey, and places like that, in New York, and um, with a lot of racial prejudice and uh, stuff like that. You can see it really now. And look at the major racist we have in the world. Who do you think it is?
Well, probably the vice president.
It's the richest. It's also the richest guy in the world.
Oh, Musk.
Yeah, and
Oh, oh yeah.
he's convinced Trump that Trump has to allow refugees, white refugees from South Africa.
Yeah, oh yeah. Because he's from South Africa. And
You
he
know,
liked people from Norway
oh,
too, right?
and he's an Afrikaner too. You know that. I mean,
Oh yeah.
he's
That makes sense.
not a liberal. Because when I was in South Africa in '64, there were a lot of British white pro-African individuals, including Alan Paton, who I got to know. Uh, Cry of the Beloved Country.
Yeah.
But the British, that was the difference in South Africa. There were 2 million white, there were 4 million whites, 2 million of them were British speaking, and 2 million of them were Afrikaans speaking. The Afrikaners didn't see black Africans as being even human beings,
Hmm.
but the British did. I mean, and the British and guys and a lot of these British that I got to know, boy, were imprisoned.
Prison.
Oh yeah, under the 90-day detention act, man. It was like uh this because South African was the Afrikaans were in charge of the government in '64. That's how Mandela got in prison 2 years earlier. And I that's why I went in the Peace Corps, I went in the Peace Corps and East Africa. I wanted to go to Africa, East Africa. Um because I wanted to, this is '64, I was 26. I wanted to see 63. I was 26. I wanted to understand racism. I wanted to understand it. I'd been involved in a few demonstrations in New Jersey, but I wanted to grok it. I couldn't really understand it. And I wanted to understand what it's like to be in a culture with all black people, which is going to Africa and living there. Um,
Yeah.
and to understand, what that was all about. And but then summer of '64, when we hitchhiked down to South Africa and saw that situation was just really heartbreaking. And
Hmm.
we had to get out of the country, but we were 2 weeks there. The people we were hanging around with were being followed, and the people we were getting to know were under the 90-day detention act. They weren't allowed to even have more than one friend with them at any given time. Remember, some of them were also white Jews. They were white Jews. Um, a lot of them were. In fact, when they first got to South Africa, they was in Cape Town, um, and they allowed blacks to become citizens if they became Christians, and so many did, and then a new race in South Africa was created called Cape Coloreds, and they weren't considered black. Uh, and there's all these levels, and the Indians they also got a lot of shit too, but um, they were Cape Colored, and they were citizens until the Afrikaners took over, and that was it for them. It's
So racist.
and this is all in the face of evolution, isn't it? I mean, this is all where evolution is trying to happen. There's no doubt in my mind that evolution is a force and it's a force of movement forward and improvement. And when we look at the evidence of it in nature, there's a lot of evidence in that regard. Healing, for example, is an aspect of it, the small aspect of it, but nonetheless to make whole. And we know how all kinds, especially now, because now we have certain uh, um, species, some of them very small, who are evolving changes because of the weather changes and climate changes. Insects or other kinds of creatures that just a change in their leg or a change in their thing. They show Ann and I have watched a number of nature shows talking about that and how they're evolving. They're just adapting because that's the when you read about evolution, then you're right away one of the first thing about it is adaptation, and that's the first factor, and then um, um, mutation follows that in the larger thing. So it's adaptation and then mutation. And this is the beauty of evolution. I mean, my goodness. I mean, it's like we're so um, lucky to have this process um, underway, and it seems to me that um, the concept becoming conscious of it is
It's real important.
yeah, yeah, it is. And this is why I wanted to get all my all-star lineup together and
Thank you, Phil.
and and it's
Well,
and it's
it's going to be time for me to depart the All-Star lineup for a bit here because the essays are piling up on the file, and I'm going to have to get to the correcting. So it's lovely being with you folks. Thank you
yeah,
so much.
this is
Frank, you're the
this is
man.
trans I'll try
Way
to
to
I'll
go.
try to send out some we can shut it down now
Yeah, no worries.
um
But it's been great. I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to the next opportunity.
yeah, me too, and to see how much where we go from here.
Yeah.
So okay.
Did
All right,
you,
man.
just one thing, there was a Nova or something about how the early humans survived the Ice Age. I remember I just saw a note, I wrote that down, how early humans survived an Ice Age. I would assume
Yeah,
it's
I
like
know, and
adaptation.
that rings a bell for me too.
Mm,
I might go
yeah.
search for that because it's kind of what you're talking about, the adaptation.
Is there? I'm trying to remember too about the section on journeys, the one that's called Journeys. Um, you know,
Um,
and so a lot of that had to do with the movement into Europe. Um, and I wonder whether some of that, but you've seen that show, right? You've seen that episode, right, Frank?
Journeys. Yeah,
That one where
Yeah.
they have they sort of end it with that tribe which has shorter legs and they're on a kind of an island culture and
I didn't watch
they're
it, but I
hobbits
did.
or hobbits I think they call them or
Oh,
something
really?
like that
I
and
got to look at that.
and
I'm
that
gonna,
and,
I gotta
hmm?
get going, guys. I'll look that one
All
up.
right.
The Ice
Great
Age
seeing you, man.
Conundrum.
Yeah,
And
those episodes are just wonderful, all five of them. And then there's also one on Neanderthals on
okay.
Netflix, according to Morgan,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
who I have to
So I'll
translate.
catch you guys in an upcoming session. Look
All
forward
right,
to it.
Chad.
Okay, my brother. I'm
Be
gonna
well.
say goodbye to
Appreciate it. See you,
um,
Chris.
and
Take it easy,
Yeah,
Frank.
and
it's
Good to
Frank.
see you, man.
Yeah.
all the same to you, man. I love you dearly. Jamie's still with us, even though his only his name is there. So I'll just
Hey, Jamie's room.
Okay, catch you guys next
okay,
time.
okay, Tim.
All right.
Okay,
Bye.
say hi to
Be well.
Leah, of course. Okay,
All right.
bye bye,
Thanks a lot,
everybody.
guys.
Bye bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Oh, the squares changed. There we go,
There
Tim.
we go. There's the guy
Oh.
leaving. Okay.
There you go. There, there.
Well,
Okay,
Phil.
it's you and me, Frankie.
Yeah. So tell me what I'm supposed to tell Jamie.
Oh,
I'm
what
just
was it?
joking. He wants to. He
What
said,
was it?
"Well, tell me what we're gonna do for next week." Like, can't write down his whole.
Well,
whole
I think what you can do, you might want to text him and just say that if he would like you to, maybe you could fill him in a little bit on what he's missed, you know.
uh,
Um,
I, yeah. Well,
and
I could tell him it's the names of some of these nature shows. He should watch those.
right,
And read
yeah,
Emerson and
yeah.
right.
And I'm going to send out a message, of course, about Emerson myself,
Okay.
and uh, because it's here's the thing. Let's say we talk, you know, okay, we're talking about nature, and then we talk about um, spirituality, but it's always the key is the most important aspect is evolution itself.
Right. Yeah.
So it's nature and evolution, spirituality and evolution, um, and so on, um, because um, that's where we are, and we'll see where we go, and we'll see how much time and how much, you know, there is to learn, and um,
Okay.
how long we can extend it. Um, for me, I'd love to see it go, you know, indefinitely, but
Yeah, I
uh,
don't see any reason to stop. I mean, we
right.
actually somehow what I want to know is there's 6 or 7 of us. Later, there might be 16 or 20 of us. But how do you get this message out to everybody? That's Do I start writing articles and try to I'm looking for a new job. But I don't know anything about selling, magazine articles or
Well, I think
selling
that
things. Yeah.
I think that we do have the foundation to do that. Um, and I've thought about that myself, as haven't done that much that kind of writing for a few years now. But um, especially considering when you consider the Amity complex along with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but there the there's the history of evolution that gives us a lot of the David Lloyd book, and it gives us
Yeah.
a lot of material to work with as well, um, in terms of the direction that evolution takes us. And now I think if you look up Emerson and evolution,
Yeah.
that'll
Okay.
really
Yeah.
or Emerson on evolution is the way I looked it up a few days ago, and that's really exciting.
Hmm.
Um,
I'll check
and
that.
and and um and it ties him in with others, and it's really I think that the beautiful place in many ways, Frankie, is that you'll see a lot of different thinkers who are,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
accessible to evolution and conscious of it, and so on. Especially since we got this foundational evidence of it in Darwin and
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
these others. So then we've we've got that, and then we say, well, then
We got to teach people
how did
about
it evolve?
Darwin's.
How did evolution evolve? You
Yeah,
know,
and that's where his second book comes in, right?
yeah,
Darwin's second book,
right.
The Descent. Yeah, yeah.
So anyway,
Okay,
I'll let you
I'll
go
go
too.
watch some of those myself, and I'll text Jamie, maybe talk to him. I might go up and visit him.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, shit.
I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to see that.
Yeah, we're okay. Anyway, great talking to you, Phil. This worked out okay. I won't
Yeah.
jump on an hour early next time.
Well, we're getting these little groups. We'll see if we're just having a game of attrition. Although I know Mitch is with us. I know Scott
Yeah,
is with us. I
and
know
these guys.
um, um, Ron is with us. Um,
Yeah. How about your friend, Mexican friend coming back from
Carlos,
Europe?
whenever he gets back, I
Carlos.
don't know when. I don't hear anything from him at all. Uh, so
Um,
that's him too. So we'll see where we go.
okay.
Um, and
Hold on, man. I'm gonna go check the goodbye leave door.
okay,
There I
be
go,
well.
out
Be
the
well.
door.
Bye bye.
Bye.